Skirt. You know what it is. Game day goons. This is Mateo, and this is your 2023-2024 NBA season preview for the Brooklyn Nets. Let's get right into it. All right, the Brooklyn Nets, they're fully embracing the youth movement this year. Gone are the days of Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, the big three, scary hours. The scary hours experiment didn't work. It's over. We've moved on, and the real youth movement is beginning, and it's beginning with a certain man by the name of Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges came over in that Kevin Durant trade, and yeah, the Phoenix Suns got Kevin Durant, but yo, you look at Mikal Bridges on the Brooklyn Nets, and he's looking like a superstar. Last year, the way he closed out that season, the man looked like a superstar. And when you take into account the fact that he played more than 82 games last season, there's only 82 games in an NBA season, and he played more than that due to him switching teams. It just shows you the level of commitment that this man plays the game with, the level of pride that he plays the game with. No rest days with this young man. He's serious about his craft. He's serious about his game, and we're going to see a big leap from Mikal Bridges this year. And he's a two-way player, mind you. So keep your eye on Mikal Bridges because he's going to do big things this year, in my personal opinion. Not just Mikal Bridges, though. Not just him. We also got men like Cam Johnson, who's going to be making noise. I think we're going to see him turn into a bit of a Klay Thompson type shooter on this team. And he's got a real spot now. He's not coming off the bench. He's not just a fill-in player like he was on that finals contending team in Phoenix. He's going to be part of like a new young core on the Brooklyn Nets, and I think we're going to see some real big things from him this year. He did play for Team USA last year, this past summer, and while they did, have a bit of a disappointing end to their tournament on the international tournament, he's still got that experience playing with other superstars, and I'm sure that did something to him to make him want to play at a higher level himself. Okay, apart from those two, I think are going to be their main players. We also got Spencer Dinwiddie, who we've seen can do a lot in limited opportunity, in limited minutes, in a limited role. He's going to be playing that kind of role for the Brooklyn Nets this year. And we also have Nick Claxton, who I believe got snubbed from an all-defensive team last year with the way he was rim protecting. He should have at least been on an all-defensive team. And really, I think he should have been maybe even a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. So I think they got a kind of a serious little young core there that can develop with them all there together and really show us something in a couple years, hopefully. Now, I got to mention it. It's not just them. That's not the only parts of this young core. We also have Ben Simmons. Now, Ben Simmons has become somewhat of a laughingstock around the league over the last 2-3 years, ever since that one playoffs appearance where he just totally lost his confidence in Philly. And since then, he's just been a shell of himself. And every year we see videos of him in the offseason hitting shots in the gym, playing at the local gym and crushing these no-name guys. But when he comes back to the league, he looks weak again and again and again. Is this the year that we're going to see Ben Simmons get back to the form that we're used to seeing him play at? Who knows? He's playing with this group of young guys where he's almost somewhat of a vet on that team, and it could be the type of situation that he needs. It could be the catalyst that he needs to get back to where he's supposed to be. I mean, he's a former #1 pick and a bona fide #1 pick, the type that comes into the league and makes an immediate impact. He was that. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what got in him that made him start playing so soft and so scared and so timid. But let's hope, for the sake of basketball, for the sake of being a fan, that we can see Ben Simmons get back to where he used to be, because I think that team with Ben Simmons playing like the old Ben Simmons is a serious team to watch. And I personally would enjoy watching that team play. Now, in addition to Ben Simmons, we also have another guy to watch on that team who may or may not make a big impact this year, and that's Cam Thomas, a.k.a. some people call him Scam Thomas, because what we saw was some crazy output from him for a few days, and he was going insane, 40-point games, 3 or 4 in a row. I forget what it was, but he was going off. And I, for one, was convinced when it was going down. I thought, oh, like, who is this guy? And then he kind of fizzled out a little bit, but I think the talent is there. I think it's real. I think in the right situation and we raise this guy up properly, he could be a serious player on this team as well. He could be in that six-man role and really be a spark plug off the bench. So he's another guy I got my eye on that team, and I think he could do something serious too if he's given the right opportunity. Now, as far as fantasy relevancy goes on that team, without a doubt, you got to think about the guys I initially mentioned. Mikal Bridges, the fact that he does it on both sides of the floor makes him a stud in fantasy. He's already the type of player, when he was in Phoenix, he was already like a top 25-ish player with the way that he played the game and what he brought to the table. But now you put him on a team where he's a #1 option and his job is to go out there and score 25 points a game on top of the defense he's playing. He's borderline like a top 10 player in most fantasy leagues, in my opinion. And I think that especially comes into effect when you're talking about a dynasty league. He's a young guy. I forget how old he is. I think he's like around 25. But the way that he plays the game and the passion he plays the game with, I think he's going to be really good for a really long time. Again, another guy to mention is Nick Claxton. From what he brings to the table with blocks, he could win you that category every week with the way that he blocks the ball and protects the rim. So I think he's another great guy to target in the 3rd or 4th round in your draft. You know, Cam Johnson, he's another guy who's really good and he doesn't really hurt you nowhere. Spencer Dinwiddie, he might hurt you in the field goal percentage area, but he's another guy who you might be able to get in the middle to late middle rounds, who's a really good contributor and a kind of under the radar kind of guy. Ben Simmons, he's a bit of a question mark, but if you take a late round flyer on him and just see where it leads you, you might get something really great. That might be like, you know, a diamond in the rough. Even though he used to be a #1 pick, like I said, he could end up being somebody that is very valuable to a team because of what he brings to the table, mainly on the defensive side of the floor. Cam Thomas, he's another guy that you might want to consider taking a late round flyer on, but really, I think the level of consistency you're going to get from him really makes him so you can't really warrant wasting a draft pick on Cam Thomas unless you're in a very, very, very deep league, because he's just not going to give you the type of consistency on a night-to-night basis that most teams would require. So I can't get behind that. He might be a really good streamer though in certain situations, you know, as we saw last year. So he's someone to keep an eye on for sure. Now, in terms of betting, an over-under of 37.5 for the Brooklyn Nets. You know, I kind of find that pretty appealing because I think the Brooklyn Nets might be overachievers this year. I think the way that team's constructed, I think Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson coming back from that, you know, disappointing ending to that FIBA tournament might make them come into this season and approach that in a real hungry way. So I think that they might surprise some people this year and overachieve and really, you know, kind of usurp some teams that we thought were better than them and show us, you know, that they mean business. And in the next coming years, they're going to be a team to watch in this league. So as an overall outlook for the Brooklyn Nets in the 2023-2024 season, I think you got a team to watch. Maybe not a team to make any major noise this year, but definitely a team to watch and a fun team to watch, as they're going to be, you know, an up-and-coming team in this league for the next few years until those guys are really ready to make that major leap to being in a contender-type situation. So keep your eye on the Brooklyn Nets. Again, this is the Game Day Goons. I am Mateo, and we'll see you next time.